The strongest man on earth is closing in on us, and today we are taking a deep look into the manhood stones.
I like all of this deep look in, Lozzie.
Well, we're just kind of diving in, focusing on one event, and I like to dive in deep.
We're not going to do this for every event, we should point out. These are the events we are most excited to watch.
There's 3 events that we're kind of doing this on, so hopefully you're enjoying these videos. Please give the channel a like and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying them. But yeah, the manhood stones we're taking a look at today, and this, I think everyone is going to be looking at. Thor Bjornsson versus Tom Stoltman.
Yeah.
The old King of the Stones versus the current King of the Stones.
And we should, because I've seen people arguing about who is King of the Stones. So I thought a little bit of a history lesson is in order, because the King of the Stones title was bestowed upon the person in the heats of the World's Strongest Man who had the fastest overall time. And the reason they introduced that is because we got to a point where, guys, it was another incentive for people to keep trying, wasn't it?
Yes, a World's Strongest Man where people had already qualified, they were just going and putting one stone up. So World's Strongest Man put out this King of the Stones title.
I think there was like a cash incentive and everything.
Yes, there was an extra bonus for whoever was the quickest person at doing the stones.
No one paid attention and we got the stone off as a result.
I know people argue and say, oh, well, he's not that good at this type of stone or that type of stone. We are talking Atlas stones, round balls that you lift from the floor up to a platform.
Yeah. Or over one.
There you go. So Tom Stoltman is the current record holder for the maximum weight lifted. He's also the record holder for times.
He hasn't lost an Atlas Stone event since the 2021 World Tour final.
And that was a bit of a freak
incident. Yes. It wasn't because he wasn't good enough. Him and Evan clashed balls. But it shouldn't go unmentioned that his record on it is 286 kilos.
Yes.
We had to double check because we were like, is that right?
That's just insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
The stones have really improved over the last sort of 10, 15 years. The actual stones themselves are better quality. The athlete's ability on them has improved. And when we look at stone lifters, Thor and Tom are just built perfectly for these type of events. I often get people, oh, I want to one motion stones like Tom Stoltman. My response is, you're not Tom Stoltman. Sometimes you just got to work on what works for you. Tom is super gifted, as is Thor when it comes to lifting stones. And I really am excited at the prospect of these two battling on this event. Obviously, I've got athletes that I coach and I want them to do well. Mitch Hooper's looking amazing on his stones. But even with him, I've been like, don't get drawn into a battle with those two.
No.
Focus on what you can do, because if anyone tries to get drawn into a battle with them, they could really mess their whole competition up. And this set of stones is very interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting rules for this event. There are 4 stones for the athletes to choose from. 1 rep on a heavier stone beats any amount of reps on a lighter stone. The 4 stones weights, we have the lightest stone, 204 kilos. Then we jump up to the 227 kilo stone, 500 pounds. That is huge, and that's only the second stone.
Yeah.
Then we move to the 249 kilo stone. That is just ridiculous. And then we have the final 272, 600 pound Atlas stone or manhood stone, potentially 4 reps. Now, the interesting thing with this rule is they do not have to do them in order. They can jump straight in for the heavy stone. We saw this with the log last year, and athletes majorly messed up because of that. It is very important to get reps on the board. And as the athletes, they're going to have to some will want to take risks because they don't want to tire themselves out doing the lighter stones. Some will try and go too heavy and they'll mess up, and then suddenly they'll be panicking and there's a chance of zeroing. We saw it on the log last year. It's a tactical event as well as a strength event. Brian likes his tactics.
Because Brian was a smart, strong man.
He was indeed. Very, very strong, but smart with it.
Yeah.
And he likes putting these events that make the athletes think and maybe take risks that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting concept. It makes it a little bit more exciting to watch. It makes it harder to predict because, when you're just doing a run of stones, we know what the athletes can do. They kind of warm themselves up on the first few
Barring
stones.
incident, it's quite predictable often.
It is.
Isn't it?
I actually, I've openly said I'm a bit bored of Atlas Stone, especially when you see athletes finish and they're within 1 second of each other. I am quite excited to watch this one.
Yeah.
Just the weights initially are just mental. But to see the prospect of people repping a 250 kilo stone or a 272 or 600 pound kilo stone.
600 pound kilo stone.
Sorry, 600 pound stone. It's, you can see how excited I am. I can't even talk.
I know. Well, another thing we should talk about, it's less predictable because for some people, I feel this setup really works better for them over a stone run where speed is more of an element.
Yeah, actually, it would have. I'm not saying I would have beaten the likes of any of these guys, but it would have suited me more where I didn't have to rush.
Yes.
Because I like to make sure I'm really secure on the stone. Sometimes when it's a run, you're trying to grab them a bit too quickly and you kind of maybe just not getting a secure grip and you kind of mess up. Whereas this, you don't have to rush. You can really get your hands set properly. Much, much better for athletes that aren't the quickest but have the power. I think someone like Matt Rack, he's a very strong lifter, very strong back. I think this setup where he doesn't have to rush, doesn't matter about timings, could be much better for him. We have so many good stone lifters. I mean, I wrote this list down. Obviously, Thor and Tom are the two major stone lifters, but Trey Mitchell is an incredible stone lifter.
How much is that Achilles going to affect this event? Because it is one where they have to sort of have that extension.
Particularly, it's a fairly low platform, so hopefully he might be okay.
Trey's a fairly tall guy.
He is, but he doesn't have the height of Thor and Tom, so he may have to extend up a little bit on the toes, which could cause problems. But we've seen him do very well on stones before, and I think, again, the fact that he doesn't have to rush could be good for him. Maxime Boudreau, also another great stone lifter. Ivor Schmaukstalis, his stone lifting is very impressive. He's lifted some big stones before. Mitch Hooper, he has had some up and down results on stones, but he's had some great results.
Again, I feel like this setup could benefit someone like Mitch.
It really will. He's very, very strong in terms of the back and the biceps and everything needed to lift stones. He's just had some unfortunate runs before, but most people have.
Yeah.
His training is looking really good, and I'm confident he can do exceptionally well on this event. Evan Singleton, very good stone lifter as well. He's very strong. I think he can do some good numbers on some of these stones. How many people can lift the 600 pound stone though is the real big ask. And I think it could be if you get it, it's going to be amazing and you're going to get huge points. If you don't get it, it could cost you, especially if you don't do some reps with some of the earlier ones.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see some massive upsets on this event. Being frank, I think Tom wins this based off of training videos that I've watched. And I'm talking in particular about Tom and Thor. I think Tom looks more comfortable.
They both have been lifting some massive weights.
They have. I feel like Tom looks a bit more comfortable though.
Do you think they will both lift the 600 pound stone?
I'm scared of getting lynched.
I think they will. I think they both lift it, and it's going to come down to who can lift it the most, which I don't think one of them can do it that many more times than the other.
No, like one more time.
Yeah.
I can picture Thor not getting the 600 pound stone.
Really?
Maybe I'm crazy.
Did you see he lifted a 260 recently?
Do you know, I think it's just because I've not had enough Thor in my life recently. He left us, now he's back, and I haven't seen him lift
He lifted
Atlas
260 kilo stone in training.
Okay.
And I think he's looking strong.
Okay.
I think he will get the big
I'm
stone.
sure you're right. I'm sure he will. But if he doesn't, I want everyone to come back to this video.
One thing I will say, Atlas stones vary. So they could be the same weight, but the quality of the stone can vary. So sometimes you can have a 200 kilo stone that no one can lift because it's so dusty or it's just badly made, it's falling apart. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think Brian is going to have amazing stones. The tacky's going to stick well to it. I think we're going to see stones that are very liftable for these guys. So,
all right, okay. I do think they'll both lift it. I don't think anyone else will, though.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't think anyone else will.
It's a massive...
Because no one's going to jump in at that, are they? Wow, maybe one of those two. No one else, though, surely.
I think anyone that just jumps in at that stone is taking a massive risk.
Even Tom or Thor?
Even Tom or Thor.
Well, we saw Tom Zero, the log.
Well,
after sort of failing the drop down.
It's going to be another interesting. It's going to go based off the previous result. So you're going to get to
the
go.
Event before it.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's going to be interesting to see the order, because that will give the guys going towards the end a massive advantage.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to athletes that I work with, and I'm like, do not just get into your head that you're going to do this stone. And that's not me saying you can't do this stone, but let's see how things play out and guarantee points. There's no point in taking unnecessary risks and suddenly you lose 16 points.
Yeah.
Let's guarantee 12 to 14 points and then see how you feel. That's kind of, how I'd be looking at it. I think most of the athletes will look at it like that, but there's going to be some that they're pig-headed and they're going to go for it and they will make a mistake. No, you see it all the time.
Oh, yeah, no, I know we
do.
do.
All the time.
Yeah.
You don't know how affected you are from the previous event. Let's remember we're at altitude as well.
Yeah,
so
you can do it in training. It's something that, bread and butter.
Tacky can just go a bit wrong. There's things that can affect Atlas stones, so there's no guarantee. But Tom Stoltman sounds confident. We saw him in Scotland this weekend. He might not be so confident when it comes to the deadlift and squat, but when it comes to the Atlas stones, he is always confident.
So as always, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with us? Do you think it's going to be a battle between Tom and Thor? And who do you see coming out on top? It can't be a draw even, can it? Because they'll be timed on their attempts. So we're not going to have a draw.
Is it timed?
It's timed.
There
it's
we
like
go.
split time on the reps.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
That's
I love that. Really love that. But anywho, we are going to, in our next video, be looking at the squat for reps. Brian has put out the video. We know what the setup looks like now. So make sure you check back for that. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.